We're spinning. All right, here we go. Monday morning. Welcome to Win the Day podcast. Let's get into it. I want to talk about how to make your business better. All right, because that's what we're here for. We want to do more business. And I got to thinking about it. This stuff gets redundant. If you haven't figured it out, there's a lot of redundancy here. But one thing I know for absolutely certain, when you're good at selling, you're good at being redundant. Mike Ferry calls it repetitious boredom, right? You're saying the same script to different people over and over and over. We see it in musicians. They sing the same songs night after night after night, year after year after year, if they're lucky, right? You just get comfortable with the repetition and the redundancy. So if you're listening to this or if you're reading the stuff, some of it's going to be like, oh my word, he's talking about that again. And yeah, that is true. And the reason why is not so much like, oh, great, I love talking about this. It's because it's important. If it's not important, we'll talk about it once and forget about it. If it's important, we're going to come back to it over and over and over again, try to shine a different light on it to make it seem fresh and new. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of this stuff is redundant if you're doing it right. Okay. So, right here you go. Sales is redundant when done right. Just is what it is. Okay. Now let's talk about what's going on in your business. You cannot and should not be everything to everyone. That's a big problem that people try to be everything to everyone. You cannot be everything to everyone. What you got to be is something to someone. You got to really become an expert in something and just get really great at it, which means you got to find your audience. And I'll guarantee you trouble occurs when you try to split up your audience. I go by music because I like music or pop music. When country people try to cross over into pop music or pop into country, some do it, but I remember Garth Brooks tried to do this. He even changed his name. It just didn't work. Didn't work for him. And it doesn't work for most.
But he was weird.
Yeah, well, everybody's weird. The thing is, find your thing and be your thing. And I know it happens. You get good, you get whatever, you get bored, right? And so you're going to try something new, something fresh and whatever to keep things interesting. And that's cool. I like that too. But find your audience. And we're going to get into that. How do you find your audience? Pay attention to these next few things. Here's how you're going to find your audience. Everybody, find your audience. Oh, for Pete's sake, how do you do it? Well, here's how you do it. Ask yourself this. Spend some time with yourself. What do I like about real estate? What is it? What is it your thing? My thing is I like helping people build wealth using vacation rental properties. That's what we do, right? I built a team around it. My team is really good at it. They study it. They learn it. They get it. Everything we put out is messaged around building wealth using vacation rental properties. It's what we do. I'm the vacation rental guy, right? Because I like it. I like that you can use real estate to build wealth. Love it, right? I love the leverage, everything that comes with it. Second thing you're going to ask yourself is, what do you find interesting about real estate? What's your thing? You know, why does it even grab your attention, right? Some people like to invest in long-term rentals. Some people like to invest in commercial. Some people like to buy and flip. So, whatever, when it comes to real estate. I like vacation rentals. All right. I like the condos. I like the second homes or third homes or whatever. I like that. It's my thing. And I spend a lot of time in it and studying it and getting really good at it. Right. And then the third thing, once you get that figured out, is who are the people that you can help? Right. Who are the other people that like vacation rentals, in my case? And go out and find them and be the someone for their something. Right. That's mine. I'm not telling you to go do that. If you are, good, go do it. But that's mine. You need to spend some time figuring out who your audience is, right? So again, what do you like about real estate? Just spend some time, some quiet time, and ask yourself, what do I like? I don't like anything, or I like everything. You can't like nothing and everything. What if you had to narrow it down? If you had to choose one thing, what would it be? And just start writing them down. Free flow it. Just 10 things I like about real estate. Just start writing them. 20 things. And then go back through them. Do I like this one better than that one? It's like showing houses. Which one you like better? This one or that one? This one. Then you get rid of the other one, right? Keep going until you got one. This must be what I like about it. Cool. What do I find interesting about it? Well, write them out. All 20 things, 50 things. Is this more interesting? Do I like this better than the other? And you're going to end up with one, right? And now you're going to know what you like and what you find interesting. And then who are these people that are going to share that like and interest? And then all you got to do is just go figure it out. Go study, right? Learn, become a master, right? Then you got it. Become a master at your thing. And then you got it. All right. Destiny, what do you think of that?
I think that's great. You know, as a newer agent, it's hard to figure out what we call a niche or niche. And, you know, it's important to just, like you said, sit down with yourself and find what are you interested in. For me, I find myself working more with people who are transitioning into another chapter of life, whether they're retiring or divorce or death, first-time home ownership. And so those are the people that I really enjoy serving right now is people who need to transition, who have a need to transition into a different phase.
So it's hard to find your thing for most people. It's like you go to college or whatever. Oh, what are you studying? You know, a little this, a little that, right? What are you going to be when you grow up? It's hard. I would argue that most people never figure out their thing and they kind of aimlessly fall into it. If you ask most people, I would guess, how did you end up doing whatever it is you're doing? They're going to say, well, I just fell into it.
Right.
Very rare is it just a planned thing. So, yeah. How about you, Mark? You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for beginners, you start off a generalist and you narrow to a specialist. And then as you hire generalists, you hire generalists to replace some of that stuff. And then you grow them into specialists themselves so that you've got a team of specialists. And I think that just like my son-in-laws that are in med school or PA school, you've got to go through enough experiences to then evaluate what did I like? That's the first
thing. And people change.
Yeah. Secondly is what feedback am I getting? There are some people that go, I want to be a singer, and people are going, you can't carry a tune. You can't. I mean, you kind of got to read the room and get the feedback. What's the market responding to you or communicating back to you? I think too many times, and I see this with the younger generation, they're coming in saying, I want to be this right off the bat because they saw somebody else doing it and it looks TikTok famous. And they haven't had enough breadth of experience to go, but that's really what I like and I'm good at it.
You know what? I did want to become a lawyer because of the TV show LA Law.
Oh, yeah.
Truth be told. Yeah. Back in the day. Didn't work out for me, though. Maybe a good thing. How about you, Julie? Have you bounced around with any of this?
You know, it's a hard thing, especially when you're new. And everybody tells you to figure out what that is. And it's very hard to, because there's so many areas of real estate. But one thing I would say is, like you said, John, brain dump, write down all the things that could be, all the possibilities, all the things that sort of pique your interest. But, pay attention to what other people are doing and look to see if there's anything that really interests you more, not necessarily eliminating a certain category or niche. But one thing I would say to really, really consider is, and this is a mistake I made right out of the gate, I did not focus right where I was. So, if you are in Chicago and you live in a high rise and it's 30 stories, maybe that building, become an expert in that building. If you live in a small town, you don't have to worry about being as niche-y about a neighborhood. But, I live in the Phoenix metro area. And when I first started out, I thought, well, this isn't going to be my final house or my final destination. So I'm going to choose an area where I want to be. And I sort of discourage that. Start exactly where you are, because that's where you're going to have the most natural knowledge. You're going to drive past the changes. You're going to drive past the new construction. You're going to see the tear down and the rebuild, and you're just going to have natural knowledge if you start where you are. Then as you grow, discover what you like and what you're attracted to and narrow it down. Don't try to be all things to all people, but start where you are.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So here's the thing with regard to real estate. One of the reasons why I love it is there is a million ways to do it well. Whether you're investing, selling, whether you're doing long-term, short-term flips, houses, condos, land, commercial. There's so many different ways to do it. Buyers, sellers, people have different styles of how they do it. So just spend some time trying to take all that out and create who you are. And then what you should probably try to do, what you should try to do is create some sort of a branding of it, right? I'm the vacation rental guy. That's who I want to be known for. But you need something, whether it's a saying, an ethos. Maybe you're the white hat guy, and everybody you're known as that because you wear a white hat in all your marketing. I don't know. Maybe you have a saying or something, but that'll really help you. Because once you've identified your audience and you know who your audience is, one of the ways you're going to know it is, one, they're going to start referring to you as that person.
Mm-hmm.
The one that, whatever, the white hat guy or the vacation rental guy or the whatever person. That's a win for you if you can do it, especially if you do it on purpose and you're not known because of default. So
But
give
the key
yourself
is the
some
purpose.
thought on that.
That's the important thing, John, is purpose. Because you need to expose yourself to opportunities, but you even though we talked about, sometimes you kind of fall into it, you don't become an expert. You don't achieve mastery accidentally. It's 10,000 hours of specific practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing something on purpose, not accidentally. So, you're not going to get a lot of experience. There are people who are in real estate who've been in real estate for 30 years, and someone will say, "Oh, wow, they've got a ton of experience," but they've closed 2, 3, 4 transactions a year. That's very little experience, and it's sort of dangerous because they count their years as experience. I'd rather work with someone who's been doing it for a year and a half and has 30 closings because they have current, now actual on the boots on the ground experience. So be careful about who you follow and how you get your experience.
Love that. Can you guys think of, it makes all the sense when you hear it, right? It just does. But when you leave here and you say, all right, go do your thing, create a hook and start building. It sounds so easy. It's like we were saying earlier, but I think before, I'm trying to build our branding and all that here, and it's so hard. And people make it look easy because they're so good at it.
Well, I think you stumble upon it. I've shared this before, but we were at a health fair with our marathon training business, and we were trying to explain it, and people weren't getting it. And then finally, just kind of in frustration, I said, "We turn couch potatoes into marathoners," and people and it's just like, boom, we found it. But we found it in about 150 different tries.
Right.
And then and all of a sudden you notice it when something turns. That's when you go, and you got to be observant.
Yeah. But I think once you're aware and you're looking, all of a sudden things start to appear, right?
Yeah.
Once you start looking at it, all of a sudden the yellow car shows up or whatever it is.
Well, and I think this is, I'm going to sound a little weird here. There's two types of knowing. There's the knowing, but the not knowing. And what I mean by that is if you've ever tried to write something, and John, you write all the time. You know what you want to write, but you don't know it yet. So you start writing and you go, no, that's not it. And so you delete. No, that's not it. And all of a sudden you write and you go, that's it. Or maybe you're putting together a barbecue sauce and you're putting in the ingredients and you taste and you go, not it. There's a part of you that knows it, but doesn't know it. It's not like a recipe that you can go, all right, let me read it out. You do it, and then all of a sudden that piece inside of you, when you taste it, you go, that's it. So you got to trust that place inside of you that knows it, but it's a mixing it up. It's a putting the words down and deleting the words. It's a adding in the ingredients until finally your heart and your soul goes, that's it. And you got to mess up the kitchen to get there.
So maybe you have to give yourself permission to try some things.
Yeah.
That's the 10,000 hours. That's
Mhm.
the 10,000 hours of practice, and refining little bit. You know, that's why, you know, when people have coaches, the coach watches what they do and they say, you need to move your foot just a little bit to the left. And sometimes you can do it faster with the coach, and sometimes it's just in-person practice. And all of a sudden it clicks. You say the right thing and you get the right reaction. You taste it and it tastes the way you want it to. But it takes 10,000 hours of practice to get there. So you just have to keep doing it, and you'll keep getting better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Destiny, say something. What do you got?
Well, I was going to say that kind of ties into, you know, even sitting at the same open house over and over and over again. You meet all the people in the neighborhood, and they start seeing your picture on those signs every single time they pull into the neighborhood and they come by and talk with you. You get to hear the questions that they're asking, which may be different from the questions that people are asking in a more residential neighborhood. And so it's really learning the lay of the land and different questions that people are asking in different areas. And that's how I've learned, you know, being a newer agent, is going to different areas and sitting those open houses over and over and over again to become familiar.
Yeah, it's weird how you might have a preconceived idea of what something might be like,
Mm-hmm.
and only to find out like, oh, I guess it's not like that, and move on. All right. So yeah, I don't know that you have to date a little while, I guess is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to get married. Figure out who it is. Because like in life, who you marry is your number one decision, right? If you're going to have success or not. It's kind of the same thing. If you're going to marry a career, I think if you marry the right one, it'll be a good thing for you. So let's go through it right now. Sales is redundant. All right. So get comfortable with us talking about some of the same stuff over and over, because it's important. You cannot be everything to everyone. So be something to someone. All right. And the way you're going to do it is to figure out who your people are, who's your audience. And here's how you're going to do it. You're going to think about what you like most about real estate. When you leave here today, spend a little bit of time. With the question, what do I like about real estate? Right on top of the thing. And you just spend all day noodling on that. And at the end of the day, write down your 50 things or however many things you have. It just have a little competition to see which one rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get that, which one do you find, or what do you like, or what do you get most interest in from real estate? What do you find most interesting? It'll kind of overlap on the like thing, but what is interesting? I love the way you can lever $10,000 to control a property that's worth a gazillion bucks and have it go up in value and whatever. That's my thing, right? What do you find interesting about that? Because if you're interested in it, you'll learn about it and you'll get great at it. And then who are the people? You want to be a little bit careful here. Don't be so tight that you can only help 2 or 3 people, because then you're going to have to help everyone, and that gets very difficult. But you don't want to be so wide that everyone's out there either, because that's just too wide. So who are those people you can help? And just write this stuff down, and you'll start to see this audience forming. You'll start to see this puzzle piece, or this puzzle start to form in these pieces and what they are and where they go together to create this great, image. So that's when you start becoming the master of your thing. And here's the thing, you guys, when you get good such that you're seen as the expert, you're the person, you're the vacation rental guy, people will start waiting to work with you. They'll get in line to work with you. They'll pay extra just to work with you. And that's a really cool place to be, because now you're working with the people you want in the area that you want, how you want, and all those things. It's such a good thing.
And I would add to that, John, don't limit yourself on when you're brain dumping on what it is that you like based on outcome in terms of money. Yes, we're in this to, make a living and to have a good life, but don't say I'm only going to, farm in Paradise Valley because the average sales price is, 3.5. Don't do it just based on money, because every single niche is a fortune when you're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
So don't just say I'm only going to go after high-priced homes. You're going to have a lot more competition there. Although that might be where you go. I'm just saying don't do it based on the money.
I know in Gary's mastermind group, there are people making gazillion bucks and first-time home buyers. There's people doing gazillion dollars in open houses. There's people doing gazillion dollars in multifamily apartments. Your thing is your thing. Just be the best at your thing. All right. One last thought. Destiny, you got anything else?
I don't have anything else. I thought that was great.
Okay, Mark.
I look, get out there and experiment, and then go forward, and don't be afraid to pivot. After you've given it enough time.
Love it. Julie?
I would say the same thing. I mean, basically experiment, go out and try, find ways to try everything, go look on the, for other podcasts and people who are speaking about it. If you can't think of areas or niches to prompt you, but then come back and figure out what you like best, what is close to home, so that you're not traveling a lot, because this is where you're going to be doing the most business. So stay close to home.
It's really interesting, at least I found it to be, so that once you figure out who you are, your passion goes up. And when your passion goes up, it really fuels who you are, and it becomes a self-fulfilling thing and an engine that almost drives itself. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's really rare. So start, and let's see where you end up. All right, let's go to work and do that. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Tomorrow.